What is happening, budget builders, and welcome back to the Galaxie Rescue. This is a 1968 Ford Galaxie XL that we dragged out of the woods where it had been sitting since at least 1986. In our first video, we got this thing cut and dragged back out. We got it here and we got it running for the first time in at least 38 years. Woo! We had a few issues, and so we tore into that engine, took care of those. We spruced it up a little bit, we built the brakes, and we got this thing going back down the road again. But we need to dial in and finish this car up. Obviously, we have shifter issues now that we installed those headers, so we need to figure out a way to take care of our shifter using a cable assembly. And we need to dig into that nasty interior. We're gonna rip the old carpet out because it is so gross, clean everything up, install some new carpet, and then show you a budget way to rebuild those door panels. And last but not least, try to fix the hood just a little bit and figure out a way to make our hideaway headlights work without spending $1,000 on a new assembly. Super inexpensive universal shifter kit with a cable. This is kind of like for doing hot rods and stuff. Hopefully, with all this mess of stuff, let me show you. Brackets and things and some bolts and some brackets and some brackets. Hopefully we can make something work. Using this supplied bracket, these spacers that Dad went ahead machined down to match, we can set it here and see how it'll go ahead and kick us at an angle. You can put the matching angle on the inside. Oh my goodness. Now our cable can slide up through. Lock washer. Now this guy, and then that end goes in the column. Yep. For the transmission side, you can see we took the bracket you'd hang under here, kind of bent it up and around where it goes right there. Uses this rear tail shaft bolt. And now that will locate this end. Go ahead, please, Dad. Reverse, neutral, drive, second, first. Beautiful. That is definitely pretty cool for $45. Saved us a huge amount of time fabricating. And I feel like with what we had there, it would have been a little janky trying to get it around here. And this works out nice. We'll zip tie it up, keep it up away from the exhaust here, and it all should look pretty good and function. It'll be nice, Dad not having to lay under this car to shift it there. Reverse, neutral, drive. Park. Sweet. I think I figured out our ignition switch issue, why nothing seems to be working. Hopefully I can just pull the switch out, clean all this wire up with good connectors, and get everything working. With your key, or obviously for replacing your tumbler, you don't have to drill it out. You turn it to your accessory position. There's a little pinhole here. Push, twist back just a little bit, and then this whole thing should theoretically come out. And we've got access to this mess. Actually kind of sort of soldered in, and where this is pulled off is actually pulled out of the plug. Yikes. Okay, so our ignition switch is kapooey. So the beautiful wiring is not our only issue. It would seem our ignition switch has failed, which is super common. We replace these all the time. Those contacts just get gross and old and broken, and there's not really anything you can do. And these are pretty inexpensive. Let's get one on the way. While we're waiting on the ignition switch, I think it is a good time to pull the seats and yank that disgusting carpet out of here. Dad said we should keep it.
Get this from Amazon. Look at
that one. We're trying to figure out a solution. One little stitch coming apart. The back's super nice. The back seat is actually really, really nice, but the bottom's not perfect. And I hate at this point to go doing a full seat cover. It's extremely expensive, and we just need to make this thing a fun cruiser. So we're gonna get some material, I think, maybe from our local Hobby Lobby or something, to get the bottom wrapped and get it ready to cruise. Oh, your buddy's down there, Dad.
Oh man, what is this?
$19.85. That's my good newspaper. I think it's in great shape. No build sheet though. Wow, that's really nice. You like my pretty orange Harbor Freight gloves? I don't know why we throw this carpet out. It's beautiful. Wow, I've got to give it to it. We've got a few small spots. There's a little hole here, a little hole there, a little bit of work we got to do there at the seat, and a small hole here. But for where this car was sitting, how it was sitting, doors wide open, this is one solid car. Rear seat pans are literally perfect, and it is structurally really sound. Good bit of cleanup, couple little patches will coat this floor, and it'll be a pretty jam up ride. Got to give it to it. This one surprised me. Focusing on our main bit of rust here, this is triple layered. So what we're gonna have to do is drill the spot welds, get this top panel off, then we'll cut and remove the next panel, then we'll address the bottom, the main floor pan, then we'll recreate this, do both of these, and then we can repair the top and get it put back on. Got these fancy little spot weld drill bits. That works really, wow, that's nice. That is so sweet. are far from professional fabricators, and I'm far from a professional welder. So hopefully this is all looking pretty decent. I will say with the rot cut out of it, welding in the new panels, I don't have a lot of burnout. With real rusty stuff, you'll blow out a lot. It's tacking in really nice, getting really good penetration to the old floors. And so it should be really, really, really strong. Once it's all coated and everything, it's under the carpet anyways, but we know it's strong, it'll be sound, and it won't be going anywhere. I wish we could get some patches or factory original. You can't get stuff like that for this. These 68 Galaxies, they don't really make patch panels for them, so you got to make them yourself. Just do whatever you gotta do to make it happen, right? This cheap Harbor Freight brake has come in handy. In fact, we bought this when we were restoring this car right here, and it might be a little more now, but I mean, it was literally nothing. It was the super, super cheap. It doesn't make the prettiest bends, but it works out perfect for stuff like this and budget folks trying to repair cars. See how this goes, and of course, all the credit for making this little piece here goes to Dad. He was the one that figured it out, designed it, and it looks pretty darn good in there. May not be exactly like factory original, but it's going to be strong, and it'll be around for many, many, many years to come. With all of the major rust taken care of, we can get everything coated. We're just going to be using some chassis rust barrier, rust converter, lay everything down, and it should make this floor pretty nice so we can lay down some sound deadening. There you have it, a nice solidified floor. Super, super pleased with how that came out. It's far from perfect, but that is going to be there for many, many years to come. It's super strong, super stout. We can put a seat back in it, not have to worry about going through the floor. The only thing, we did these couple small patches in the back here. The only thing I'd like to do different in the future is be able to have some kind of bead roller. I think you can get one from Eastwood, something we don't have currently, but in the future I'd like to do that, so when we make panels, especially when they're heavier gauge like this, we can roll those little divots in it. I do feel like just a little bit of sound deadening makes a huge bit of difference. We're just going to be using the Silas on special stuff. We've used this on all of our builds, but it does make a huge difference going down the road. If you listen to this, just that underneath the seat pan is going to make a huge difference, especially road noise going down the road. You'll hear less of that road noise and more of the exhaust. Once this stuff, you can kind of pull it off and move it around, but once you've rolled it on, it's on there. Hey, I'm not going through the floor. Before we can go back in with our seats, we got to get it cleaned up a little bit here. We'll be using this Spray 9 multi-purpose cleaner and disinfectant. This is not only going to help clean really good, but it's going to disinfect everything in here. And we'll also be using that on our seats. That's why we want to try to save those front door panels. Look how nice the vinyl is on that. And the cards are actually super nice on the backs. Wow, look at that piping. That's beautiful. Wow, wow, wow.
Wow, that's so nice. And now we'll go over it with leather vinyl cream conditioner. We can work it in, we'll let it dry a bit, and then we'll buff it back off. Bloop.
Now for our front seats. The tops are in pretty good shape still. One little tear, we'll put some vinyl behind and glue everything in. But the bottom needs to be covered. So we're gonna put something down on top of it. To do that, we need to pull these tops anyways, and it'll help us clean things up. We should be able to just pull our cap off. We've got a clip here. We'll unwrap right here, and there should be clips on the inside, and those tops should just come right off. This mounting bracket, still in great shape. This side, we know with the floor we had to repair, it's no good. I'm sure it would be an absolute nightmare to find one of these tracks. I'm glad we were able to save that one. Get this thing cleaned up so we can get it re-wrapped. This seat is actually, even the foam's in super nice shape, all the springs are super nice. So this can always be changed up in the future. Just don't know if we want to spend a couple $1,000 on interior in this car right now. All right. I found this at Hobby Lobby. Hope they look good. I like it. You know, Hobby Lobby's always got their little sales, so this stuff is like, I don't know, $8 for 2 yards or something. Hey, Dad.
Uh,
When you get a second, please, do you mind if I get just another clean rag, like a wipe-off rag? Wow, this one cleans up super nice.
steering wheel?
Yeah.
In a jam.
Yeah, it's not all sticky. With everything clean and the floor taken care of, I'm pretty excited for this next step. I feel like fresh carpet makes a huge difference. Obviously, the original was roached. It came out in pieces. Let's get some OEM bright blue carpet back down in this thing. Oh boy, I like that. That's gonna look good. This is just eBay special carpet, molded carpet, pretty simple stuff and pretty reasonable. Definitely a nice way to spruce up an old interior for a couple $100. And what's cool is this company is actually out of Seneca, South Carolina, so only about 20 minutes from us down the road. It's a little chilly. I hope our glue's going to work. We really don't glue carpet much because you want it to float, but I like to glue the tunnel down, push everything into place, and then we'll glue right here on the rockers just so everything holds nice, and then the rest of it's gonna float. It's obviously got sound deadening underneath it and everything anyways. The seat will hold down. Back here, for the most part, we'll have a little trimming to do around the seat latch and around the side here.
Seriously?
Hopefully we can save these original moldings here with some aluminum brightener. A little bit of brushing and wow, does that make a difference. Are you in?
Yep.
With our switch being bad anyways, we've got a new one. Now when installing it, this harness is melted. You can see the whole middle is melted out of it. It looks horrible, and you can buy them brand new. So we're gonna install one. I would rather be safe and sorry and take the chance of burning this thing down. Now, one thing I'm a little unsure of is this resistor wire. They always say you can't splice them in. This one comes just like this, and I'm a little unsure of how to go about this. The one here was spliced in. I'm gonna try one of these little solder connectors right here, like this, and then we'll measure our voltage and check our resistance and see how things look. If it looks like we're getting 9 volts after starting, then it should work. I'm just gonna tie it in right to here. And then we'll put every bit of this wire, coil it up in the dash, zip tie it, and you should have, theoretically, the resistance, because this isn't connected anyways. It's not like this splices up there at some point, because it does not run all the way to the coil. So, I'm not sure. Sweet. Charging super nice. No, we're full voltage. Okay, tied into the coil. We're only 10.5 volts. The resistance is working because on the battery, we're almost 13. 10.5. I'm pretty good with that. I think on points will last no problem with it like that. Yeah, these door panels need just a little bit of love. Wow, they're crispy. This one here though, I think we can hopefully, if we can get it all out in one piece, pull enough of a template to make a backer. That's kind of our plan here. We actually need to make the door card portion of this. We're gonna try to cut the staples out. Try to cut the staples out here. You're gonna hear the heater running as we're gonna try to keep everything as warm as possible. So hopefully this panel doesn't just break apart. See if we get this door card out so we can start making our new ones. We get it off flush. There ain't nothing down there, is there? Fluid pretty good there still, huh? Yeah. There's a little bit left, I don't think. Just get it off. Well, there's our super floppy door panel. Here we go. This is what we'll try to use. This is just backer board material from our local hardware store. About 10, well, not even $10 a sheet. So if we can save a door panel for 10 bucks, and I did some looking as far as those door panels goes, those 2-door hardtop XL door panels are astronomically expensive. I think this will be a good alternative. I can't talk, it's cold. This will be a good alternative. That's the easiest cutting wood we've ever cut on here.
Smells good.
It does smell really good. Dang, that glue just soaks into there.
Yeah. It's okay up here. Okay. Well, we're gonna work with it. That's just what it is, right?
I probably wouldn't push too hard. Just enough.
Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna have its little wrinkles and stuff. We are so close. But before we can wrap this up, seal it, and get our door panel back on, we've got to address one major thing. The window works fine, but part of the regulator has come loose. All we should have to do is clean it all up and get it re-welded on. Otherwise, that spring's a little rusty. Pretty nice regulator. I'm gonna fill in this side just a little bit first, just because it's getting close. We wanna make sure that'll last. So easy. This is just some good old carpet saver that you get from your local hardware store. That'll keep the door panel protected from moisture. Not gonna lie to you, not entirely ecstatic about the door panels, especially for the amount of work that we had to put into them. I feel like if we took a little bit of time and made a lower panel that went on the bottom down here and put some carpet on it, it'd look really good. But hey, you win some, you lose some, you live and learn. Not everything can go smoothly. Sometimes it is trial and error with these old cars. That 57-year-old vinyl just was not interested in laying out nicely. And then it had some reaction to the glue. Maybe if we'd put some foam in it, but it's just really tough to say and to figure out. I feel like they look okay. It'll get us going down the road, and they can be worked on and adjusted a little bit later. I think we kind of got to save these. They are over $200 each, and this side, the panel's not bad. There's a little bit of rust where it's gone there, and a crack in the top. Passenger side looks super nice, but there's nothing left panel wise. I'm gonna try to clean up as much of this as I can and then epoxy and fiberglass everything together. And hopefully it'll be strong enough for a dual door pull, at least to get it mounted. We might just have to be pretty careful with everything, but it's gotta go back on there. So we gotta try to make it work. Instead of going through the trouble spending $200 to $300 for a replacement pod, something that even once it's done proved to be somewhat unreliable, or no telling how much for an electric actuator, I think we're gonna try to make our own mechanical one, something that'll always work, always be reliable, so you're safe and know you have your headlights. I think we're gonna make it all happen with this right here. This is a pull and stop cable. So what it does is it actuates, and then you can twist it and lock it out. So if we spring assist this very lightly, I think we should be able to pull our headlights open, lock it into place, unlock it, and close them back down. Okay, y'all gotta see this fancy little thing we came up with. This is the top to the pod, which was bad. We welded in a washer, welded on a brake line so our cable can ride up into it, welded a tiny little nut in the top so we have a stop there, and this can bolt back into place, and this will be our cable holder McBob thing. All right, give it a pull. Push it back up. I think Dad's ready for some hood massaging.
A big hammer.
Okay. Our hood massaginator. Oh, yeah.
I got it.
Good job.
As you can try to, oh, you got it.
I know we had to add a little bit of a drain hole, but that I think that's the only way to get this big crease out of the top here.
Okay. Hear it now.
Absolutely not perfect. That's a tough spot to try to work, but I am super happy with how that turned out. I mean, it is a great driver, and down the road, if you wanted to, you could body work that pretty good and repaint that hood, but it's at least straight now. The hood opens and closes much better than it did before, and it's not crunching down on the grill. One major thing we're short up front here is that emblem, that XL emblem. The only one I have been able to find. I've reached out, looked around. I found one online for like $600. No, there's no way. I've got something else. It's probably gonna look a little goofy, but it'll at least get us rolling down the road for now. I had one printed out. There's our XL emblem. I don't know. I guess it works. It's at least something temporary for now until hopefully a used one can be found. Hear those headers pinging as they start cooling down. We definitely put this thing through its paces, but what an absolute machine. It is hard to believe this thing was tucked away for so many years and it is just ready to get out and run. In its current state, it's not a perfect car by any means, but it is ready to enjoy. I feel like the interior definitely cleaned up. It's spruced up really nicely, especially with that fresh carpet. The floor's taken care of. You can sit in there safely and enjoy it now. There's definitely some things that we can continue to piddle on and so on and so forth. But everything is dialed in to make this thing a perfect, fun cruiser. And cruising is what it does. But it definitely has a little grunt behind it too. That 302 spruced up a bit, and that fun exhaust that really gives this thing just the right sound. I don't know about y'all, but I feel like this thing deserved to be rescued and deserves to be enjoyed once again. Before we wrap up, let me give you a little bit of a cost breakdown. This is probably one of the more expensive cars we've ever purchased. So the whole deal with this is we were at an estate auction. There was probably over 100 cars there, and there was one gentleman in particular that owned a junkyard and was buying up everything for more money than I think most could justify, and I wasn't gonna let we weren't gonna let these cars go to the junkyard. A few of them, obviously the Power Wagon, we have a really cool little Ford GPW that you see here soon, and then this Galaxie. When this thing came up, we had already gone through probably 60 cars, and majority had been purchased by that gentleman in particular. I just held my hand up, and not that we have the money, that went on a credit card. We won this thing for $1,000. It's definitely more than I wanted to spend, but I do feel like even in its condition, it was worth that. The other two we purchased for $500 a piece, the Power Wagon and the GPW. So as the three combined, I think that was a really fair deal. But that does put us a little far ahead than we normally are. Jumping in, we spent $121 on one new tire and mounting and balancing our other three that we already had. The little valve cups were $10.65. Trim clips to mount that rear trim back on and the trim across the back ended up costing us $22.68. Hubcaps, $58.53. You can see we actually ended up swapping them out for what should be on this car, and I do think they look really good on there. It's a super, super nice set of hubcaps for that kind of money. The valve covers, that style valve cover is not cheap. I actually bought the cheapest ones I could find. I had bid on them and won them. They weren't necessarily specifically for this car, but we used them on it. That was $138.50. All the new rockers we had to buy was $190.42. Used, they were more than that, and so I think it was worth just buying new. The brakes, we spent about $196 total on the brakes. The headers were $161.
All of our other miscellaneous getting this thing going parts, about $220. The carburetor, we had $100 in. The carpet, $264. $40 for that pull cable. The shift cable kit was $47. The door card material was $24. The seat cover material was $10. The door handle caps, those little trim pieces, were $32. The ignition harness was $60, and the ignition switch was $34. I've got another roughly $43 in miscellaneous stuff to get this car to be a cruiser driver, and that puts us at a total of $2,771.40, which I think is extremely fair for that car right there. I do feel like, quite honestly, that's probably about what the car is worth if we were to resell it, but it was well worth it. We're so glad we got to bring you all along with us on this rescue. We can't wait to do many, many more of these. Do you feel like it's pretty fair what we spent on this car? Comment down below. Would you rescue this thing? Would you do it similar? What would you do differently if you were bringing this thing back to life? I do want to take a second to thank you all so incredibly much. We get to rescue these cars right here that have been forgotten for so many years because of each and every one of you. I get to do it with my dad. I get to do it with my family. Thank you all so much. If you haven't already and you want to see more of rescues like this, our other rescues and rebuilds, be sure to subscribe button, notification bell to keep up with our future uploads. Peace out, and catch you all on the flip side.